Uh, no one ever, not in any, I don't really run in that circle, so I don't know, I am currently on the Screen Actors Guild on the national board, but I have yet to meet anyone famous in government.
Well, not necessarily in government, but just somebody who came up and said that they were a fan of the show, and you were kind of surprised that that they would have taken an interest in something like that.
Oh yeah, sports celebrities that I've met sometimes that have impressed me,
People we would know.
Well, this was years ago. Guys like Al Zato and John Matuzak. Both of those guys are gone now, but using steroids. Guys like that.
That's interesting. When I was at Mr. Katt's table, I noticed a DVD. The film is titled "Man from Earth," and I just looked at the synopsis on the back of the case. Interesting science fiction film. That's a very recent project. You said it was just released. You told me. So
yeah, there's a film that's coming out that I did that's actually doing quite well on the IMDb's list. I think it's number 5 this week. And it's a really, really interesting, compelling script by quite an iconic figure in sci-fi, Jerome Bixby, who has 2 Academy Awards for his work, for Fantastic Voyage. He wrote a lot for The Twilight Zone, Rod Serling's Twilight Zone. He wrote several of the great episodes from Star Trek. And it's really an interesting take on an immortal man who lives for 14,000 years, and he's really just this anomaly. He doesn't understand why he's living and not dying, but he does, and so every 10 years he tends to move. And what happens is he divulges this information to some of his associates. He's a college professor, and I play an anthropologist. And we have a whole room of PhDs that try and poke a hole in his story that he's revealing to us, that he's been, as he's traveled from 14,000 years ago to present. And we cannot poke a hole in his story. So it's really a thinking man's sci-fi film. It's interesting. There's no action. There's no CG. But if you watch the first 10 or 15 minutes, you'll get hooked because the question is interesting. Not a theatrical film. Not something you'd want to pay $8 to go see in the theaters, but to sit at home, it's interesting. Yeah.
Now, did it debut on a channel? Did you say, or
no? It's gone directly to
DVD,
and I think they're making a sale to a Sci-Fi Channel or whatnot.
Yeah, so it's called Man from Earth.
Sure, it's out there. You can. Somebody's ripped it and put it up on the internet. You can find it, I'm sure.
But this is the official, obviously.
Yeah. And I have a film coming out called Fanboys, which will be out after the first of the year, which is really, really a fun look at these conventions. And it's a cast. I just have a small little role in it, but I play the head of security for George Lucas at Skywalker Ranch. And it makes fun of the fact that I didn't get the role of Skywalker, but he gave me this really cool job. And it's got all these young fellas that you would recognize. They've done a lot of terrific work in very popular youth films recently. So
it's great.
I think I heard of that one before.
Yeah, it's 4 kids. They take a road trip. One kid is going to die, and before he dies, they take a road trip to sneak into Skywalker Ranch. And that's what the film is about. It's got a lot of heart, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cameos. Bill Shatner's in it, and just endless cameos.
And the name of it, Fanboys?
Fanboys, yeah.
Is that being released?
That'll be released in January. So
okay.
Yeah.
I think the trailer for that's on the Clerks 2 DVD.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's the same one I'm thinking of.
Cool.
That's neat. That sounds like a good one, too. Yeah, but I was intrigued by that Man from Earth. That sounded very compelling, yeah. So, now, you said it just got released very recent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said it's IMDb, it's about top 4 or 5?
It's top 4 or 5 right now.
That's great, yeah.
Great.
I had one more.
Yes.
What about directing? I know you put your hand in that arena, and I was wondering if you had anything in store for the future in that department.
Trying to get a film made right now. The 2 films I've done have been under $1 million, and budgets were a little bit easier to raise. But I have a project I've been working on for a few years, but the budget's about 3.5, so it's a little more difficult to raise that. Recently, I did some theater with Laney Kazan and Joe Bologna. I directed them in a play, Fort Lauderdale, that was quite successful. Because I'm still involved in theater quite a bit. So, you know, I juggle, wear many hats, and spin many plates, you know, in order to make ends meet. So it's been interesting, right?
What's your favorite kind of role to play?
Pardon me?
What's your favorite kind of role to play?
One that pays lots of money.
Yeah, that'd be my favorite too.
Any other questions?
Do you keep in touch with your co-stars from Greatest American Hero?
I do not see Connie Selica very often. I never see,
Robert Cole.
no, I was going to say, I don't see Michael Pare. I don't see any of the cast of The Class in there.
Oh, yeah.
I
don't
see
remember
Connie,
the
I've
school
seen
cast.
Connie maybe once in the last 3 or 4 years. I saw Bob Culp last year at the Chiller Convention.
Oh, okay.
And that's the last time I've seen him.
You did Pardon My English.
I did.
Was that ever anything that staged, or was it just this soundtrack?
Pardon My English was, I'm trying to think, oh my God, I have mush brain now. It's like an icon in musical theater. Remember who the composer was? Gershwin. Oh
Yeah.
my God, what an idiot. Stupid. It was a Gershwin play that, like, never got produced. It got one night on Broadway, like in the 30s. And so they brought the book out, and I did it with a host of wonderful people, and we sang a cast album with a 64-piece orchestra on the CBS at CBS Radford, and it was released. It's just an exquisite piece of music, but the book was not very good, so the play never got produced. But it was a great musical.
How's your mother, Barbara Hill, doing?
My mom broke her hip about 3 months ago. She's been in bed. She's doing well now. She's doing much better. Thank you. Yeah. I told her she's got to stop roller skating.
Did she help you get the original job on the Ironside show?
On the Perry Masons.
On Perry Masons? And you,
Yeah, because I actually was on tour doing The Pirate King and Pirates of Penzance at the time, in 1984. And I was on tour with George Rose. It was the last tour he did. And she called me. I was at the Muni Theater in St. Louis. And her and Raymond got on the phone and convinced me to do the Perry Mason specials. So that's when I left that show and I joined the cast. In Toronto was our first episode.